The scent mud went on cold. I spread it across my throat, my wrists, behind my ears, anywhere the pulse showed. My hands shook. They always did this part. 3 cycles I'd been doing this. 3 cycles it had worked. The jungle pulsed around me, bioluminescent veins running through bark and leaf. Blue-green light, steady as a second heartbeat. I counted under my breath. 28, 29, 30. 30 seconds for the mud to set. 30 seconds before the chemical mask locked in. Something moved in the fungal grove to my left. Low, deliberate. I caught the shape between 2 trunk-sized mushrooms' shoulders rolling, each step soundless. The shadow panther. It paused, head turning. Violet eyes split the dark like surgical cuts. I held still. The mud was setting. I felt it tighten, cool against my skin. The creature's nostrils flared. It sampled the air, processing. Then it turned away, melting back into the grove. I let out the breath I'd been holding. Checked the container half full, maybe less. The paste glowed faintly, giving off that sour-sweet smell that reminded me of overripe cantaloupe. I sealed it, placed it back in my pack next to the hollow frame. My daughter's face flickered there, frozen mid-laugh, 6 years old. I'd promised I'd be home for her 7th birthday. That was 4 months ago. My name is Dr. Kaya Ben. I was a terraforming biologist, assigned to the Kepler 442 colony establishment. My shuttle hit an uncharted debris field during the final descent. The escape pod ejected, but the nav system fried on entry. I came down alone, 40 kilometers from the landing zone. No comms, no beacon. Just me and an emergency kit designed for 3 days. I've stretched it to 3 cycles, roughly 17 days, near as I can measure by the bioluminescent pulse of the forest. The trees here run on circadian rhythms, brightening and dimming in 18-hour intervals. I started calling them days because I needed something familiar to hold on to. The first cycle, I nearly died 3 times. Once from drinking water that turned out to be mildly caustic. Once from eating a berry that made my throat swell. Once from not understanding that the pretty floating spores were actually a fungal defense mechanism that induced hallucinations. I spent 6 hours convinced my daughter was calling to me from inside a tree hollow. When I came to, I'd scratched my arms raw trying to dig through bark. The second cycle, I got smarter. Started documenting everything. Sketched plants in my journal. Tested samples on fabric before skin. Built a filter system for water using crushed charcoal and sand. The emergency kit had included a multi-tool, a thermal blanket, and a basic med pack. I was down to bandages and antiseptic gel. The mud came from observation. Second cycle, I saw a lizard meter long, 6 legs, plated back rubbing itself against a bulbous growth on a tree trunk. The growth oozed. The lizard smeared the ooze across its spine, then walked directly past one of the shadow panthers without a glance from the predator. I filed it away. Desperation makes you notice things. By cycle 3, I'd synthesized my own batch. 12 different plant species had similar glandular structures. I tested all of them on fabric scraps first. 11 did nothing. 1 made the fabric smoke. The 12th, this one worked. I didn't understand why. I just knew the panthers stopped tracking me when I wore it. They hunt by pulse. I'd figured that out watching them circle a wounded bird. The bird's heartbeat was erratic, panicked. The panthers zeroed in from 100 meters out, moving through undergrowth they shouldn't have been able to navigate in the dark. They don't rely on sight. They hear the heart, or feel it. Some kind of biosensor I hadn't identified yet. The mud muffled that signal. Somehow it created interference. Let me pass unseen or at least unheard. I broke camp at first light. The canopy above glowed soft blue, photosynthetic cells drinking in the star's radiation. I needed water, needed food. The ration bars were gone. I'd been supplementing with fungi and a tuber that tasted like wet chalk but didn't kill me. Protein was harder. I'd tried trapping, but the small game here was too fast and too smart. The larger game was protected. 3 days ago, I'd tracked what looked like a deer analog 4 legs, branching antlers that bioluminesced at the tips. I'd gotten within 20 meters, knife ready, when a shadow panther materialized between us. It didn't attack, didn't even look at me, just stood there until the deer thing bolted. then followed at a lazy pace, guarding its claim. I'd gone hungry that night. I followed the creek bed east, stepping over roots thick as my torso. The mud on my skin had dried to a film. I could feel it crack when I turned my head. Reapplication every 8 hours, that was the rule I'd established. Any longer and the scent faded. Any shorter and I'd run out too fast. The container was getting light. I tried not to think about it. Tried to focus on the immediate problem: food, water, shelter. But the math was inescapable. 2 days left, maybe 3 if I stretched the doses thin. After that, I'd be exposed. The Panthers would find me in minutes. The creek widened into a pool, the water clear enough to see the bottom. I knelt, filled my canteen through the filter. Small fish darted in the shallow's translucent bodies, organs visible through their skin. I'd tried catching them before. They were faster than they looked. A ripple crossed the pool. I looked up. On the far bank, a shadow panther crouched at the water's edge, drinking. Its reflection shimmered in the pool, violet eyes doubled. It lifted its head, water dripping from its jaw. It looked directly at me. I froze. The mud was still fresh. 8 hours hadn't passed. It should work. The panther tilted its head, sniffed. Then it stood and walked along the bank, paralleling my position. Not approaching, not leaving, just watching. I backed away slowly. It followed, matching my pace. When I stopped, it stopped. When I moved, it moved. It was tracking me. Despite the mud, I ran. The jungle blurred around me. I vaulted over roots, ducked under low branches. My pack slammed into my spine with each step. Behind me, I heard nothing. No footsteps, no breathing. But I knew it was there. They were always quiet. I stopped at a cluster of trees near a thermal vent. The ground here was warm, the air shimmering. Good spot for the glandular plants, they thrived in heat. I found one within 10 minutes, its bulbous growth swollen and ripe. I pulled my knife, ready to harvest. The plant reacted. It convulsed, the bulbs contracting. A spray of spores erupted, coating my hands, my arms, my chest. I stumbled back, coughing. The spores clung like glue, sticky and warm. I tried to wipe them off. They smeared, sank into my skin. Then I heard it, my own heartbeat, amplified, echoing through the trees like a drum. The spores, they were conducting the pulse, broadcasting it. I looked down at my chest. The bioluminescence of the forest had synced to my rhythm. Every beat of my heart sent a ripple of light through the undergrowth. I was a beacon. I ran again, faster this time. The shadow panther appeared on a ridge 200 meters out, then another. A third emerged from behind a fungal cluster. They moved in parallel, flanking. Standard pack behavior. They were coordinating. I ducked into a ravine, slid down a moss-slick slope. My pack slammed into my spine. The hollow frame dug into my ribs. I didn't stop. Couldn't stop. There, a root hollow, low and tight. I dove inside, dragging the pack after me. My hands found the container. I twisted it open, scooped out the last of the mud, smeared it across my throat and chest. The amplified pulse stuttered, faded. Silence. I pressed myself against the roots, breathing through my nose. Listened. Footsteps. Soft. Circling. The panthers were close, maybe 10 meters. I couldn't see them, but I felt the vibration of their movement through the ground. One of them sniffed near the entrance to the hollow. A low rumble. Another answered from the opposite side. They were communicating. I gripped my knife, knowing it would do nothing. These creatures weighed twice what I did. Their claws could shred the thermal blanket I'd been using as shelter. If they wanted in, they'd get in. The sniffing stopped. The footsteps paused. Then, slowly, they receded. I waited an hour before I moved. When I finally crawled out, the container was empty. I turned it over in my hands. Not even residue left. I was exposed. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat with my back to a tree, knife in one hand, hollow frame in the other. My daughter's face glowed softly. Her name was Mira. She liked dinosaurs and strawberry ice cream and hiding under blankets to read past bedtime. I'd recorded a message for her before the mission, something she could watch if I didn't make it back. I hadn't planned on her needing to watch it. The jungle pulsed around me, blue-green light fading and brightening in slow waves. I'd learned to read the rhythm. When the light dimmed, the nocturnal creatures emerged. When it brightened, the diurnal ones took over. There was an order to it, a logic. I just hadn't cracked it yet. At some point, I noticed the lizards. 3 of them, the same species I'd seen on Cycle 2. They approached slowly, heads low, submissive. They reached the edge of my camp and stopped, watching me. I still had traces of the mud on my skin dried, flaking, but present. One of the lizards stepped closer. It pressed its snout to my knee. A low vibration rumbled from its throat. Not aggression, something else. The other 2 followed, touching my hands, my boots. They circled me once, then settled nearby, guarding. I'd seen this behavior before. Pack animals protecting their own. But I wasn't their own. I was human. Alien. I didn't belong here. Except, they thought I did. I pulled out my journal, wrote by the light of the hollow frame. They don't act like I'm invisible. They act like I'm accepted. I stared at the word, accepted. The mud didn't hide me. It changed how they saw me. But into what? I spent the rest of the night thinking, reviewing everything I'd observed. The lizards had approached me when I wore the mud, not fled. Approached. The panthers had never attacked anyone wearing it, only tracked those without it. The deer thing had bolted when I got close, but the panther had intervened. Protected its prey, yes, but also ignored me, as if I wasn't a threat, as if I was part of the environment. What if the mud wasn't camouflage at all? What if it was identification? By morning, I'd made a decision, a stupid one maybe, but I was out of options. If I wanted more mud, I needed to understand it, and the only way to do that was to go to the source. The shadow panthers had territory. I'd mapped it over the past cycles, tracking their movements, their kills. They centered around a valley to the north, a place where the fungal growths grew tall as buildings and the bioluminescence pulsed in coordinated waves. I'd avoided it. Predators defend their core territory. Going there was suicide. But if the mud came from those glandular plants, and those plants thrived in specific conditions, then the valley was my best shot at finding a concentrated source. Maybe even understanding the compound itself. And if my theory was right, if the mud was a signal rather than camouflage, then maybe going to the heart of panther territory wasn't suicide. Maybe it was the smartest thing I could do. I packed light. Knife, hollow frame, empty container, journal. I left the rest. If I didn't come back, there was no point in preserving supplies. The trek took 6 hours. The jungle thickened as I moved north, the undergrowth denser, the light dimmer. The trees here were older, their bioluminescence slow and deep, like a pulse on sedatives. I felt like I was walking into a cathedral. The air smelled different, too richer, more complex. Layers of scent I couldn't identify. I passed markers along the way. Scratch marks on trees, too high for me to reach. Scat piles, deliberately placed. Scent glands rubbed against bark. The panthers were marking territory, warning intruders. I was walking directly into their home. Every instinct screamed at me to turn back. I kept walking. The valley opened before me just after midday. The fungal towers rose in clusters, caps wide as houses, their surfaces rippling with light. The ground was soft, covered in a carpet of phosphorescent moss. And everywhere were the glandular plants. Hundreds of them. Thousands. I should have been relieved. Instead, I felt the weight of eyes. They emerged from the fungi. 3 shadow panthers. The largest alpha, I assumed, stepped forward. Its violet eyes fixed on me. The other 2 spread out, flanking. Classic pack behavior. They were corralling me. I dropped to my knees. Submissive posture. Non-threatening. My hands shook as I reached for the plants, tore off a bulb, crushed it. The ooze was wrong, thicker, darker. I mixed it with the fermented sap I'd been using as drinking water. smeared it on my throat. It burned. I gasped, clawing at my skin. The mixture was wrong, too acidic. My skin blistered under the paste. I tried to wipe it off, but only spread it further. The panthers closed in. I could see their muscles coiling, ready to spring. I had one option left. I grabbed another bulb, crushed it, mixed it with my own sweat salt, pheromones, whatever my body was producing in sheer panic. I rubbed it into my skin, across my chest, my neck. The burn faded, the scent changed, sharper, organic. The alpha stopped 2 meters away. Its nostrils flared. It tilted its head, processing. Then, slowly, it sat. The others mirrored the movement. They watched me, unblinking. I didn't move, didn't breathe. The alpha stood, stepped closer. It lowered its head, exposing its throat, a gesture I'd seen in canines, a sign of trust. Then it pressed its snout to my palm. The vibration started again, that low rumble, not a growl, a purr. The others joined in. The sound resonated in my chest, syncing with my heartbeat. The bioluminescence of the valley pulsed in time. I was part of the rhythm now. I sat there, surrounded by predators, and for the first time in 3 cycles, I wasn't afraid, because I finally understood. The lizards hadn't avoided me when I wore the mud. They'd approached, submitted. The panthers hadn't attacked anyone who wore it, they'd only tracked those who didn't. The mud wasn't camouflage. It was a signal, a chemical marker. It was pack scent. I'd spent 3 cycles thinking I was hiding from the jungle, but I'd been asking for permission to join it. The mud told the panthers I belonged, and every time I wore it, I reinforced that message. The jungle wasn't hunting me. It was testing me. Could I learn its language? Could I adapt? I looked at the empty container, lying in the moss. I didn't need it anymore. The alpha nudged my hand, turned, walked toward the center of the valley. The others followed. After a moment, so did I. They led me to a den, a hollow beneath a fungal tower, the entrance wide enough for 2 panthers abreast. Inside, the walls glowed with embedded bioluminescent fungi. Cubs. 4 of them, no bigger than house cats, tumbling over each other. They froze when they saw me. The alpha rumbled, a sound that seemed to say, "Safe." The cubs approached cautiously, sniffed my boots. One of them, braver than the others, climbed onto my lap. Its purr was high-pitched, almost a chirp. I touched its head. The fur was softer than I expected. The alpha watched, approving. Over the next hours, I learned the valley's rhythm. The panthers hunted in shifts, bringing kills back to the den. They shared. A haunch of something deer-like appeared in front of me. I cooked it over a small fire I built from dried fungi. The meat was gamey but edible. When night fell, the bioluminescence dimming to a soft glow, the pack settled. The alpha took the center. The others arranged themselves around it. I found a spot near the entrance, my back to the wall. The cubs curled up against me, their warmth seeping through my clothes. I slept for the first time in days. The next morning, I woke to the alpha standing over me. Not threatening, just watching. When I sat up, it turned and walked to the edge of the den. Looked back, waiting. I followed. It led me through the valley, showing me things. A spring where the water was pure, filtered through layers of mineral-rich stone. A grove where fruit hung heavy from vines, sweet and safe to eat. A patch of fungi that glowed bright orange when touched, poisonous. The alpha's body language said, "Stay away." It was teaching me. Over the following days, I learned more. The panthers communicated through a combination of vocalizations, body language, and scent. They marked territory not just to warn outsiders, but to create a map. Each scent marker told a story: who passed through, when, what they were doing. The bioluminescence of the valley wasn't random. It was a network, synchronized by chemical signals in the soil. When one plant detected a threat, it pulsed a warning. The signal propagated, alerting everything connected to the network. The jungle was intelligent. Not conscious exactly, but aware, responsive. And the mud, the kith marker, as I started calling it, was my key to being part of that network. I refined the formula. Learned which plants produced the base compound, which additives extended its duration, which combinations created different signals. I could mark myself as pack, as guest, as non-threat. Each variation changed how the jungle responded to me. 3 months later, 94 marks carved into the fungal tower. I'm still here. The panthers bring me kills. I've learned which plants are safe, which fungi provide water. The young ones follow me, curious, learning. I teach them what I know. They teach me what they know. I've mapped the valley, cataloged 63 plant species, 22 fungal varieties, 14 animal species. I've documented the symbiosis, the way the bioluminescence communicates threats, coordinates hunting, marks territory. The jungle is a network. Every organism connected by light and scent and pulse. The glandular plants produce a compound I've started calling kith marker. It mimics mammalian pheromones but operates on a broader spectrum. When I wear it, I'm signaling membership in the ecosystem. The panthers recognize me as kin. The herbivores tolerate my presence. Even the smaller predators give me space. It's not invisibility, it's acceptance. I've refined the formula, mixed it with local clays to create a longer-lasting paste. I apply it once every 3 days now. The alpha watches me do it, seems to understand the ritual. Sometimes it brings me fresh glands from plants I haven't tested yet, offerings, teaching me the same way I teach the cubs. Sometimes, I wonder if rescue will come, if the colony noticed my pod went off course, if they're searching. I still activate the Holoframe's emergency beacon once per cycle, even though I know the range is limited. But I'm not sure I want to be found anymore. The Holoframe still works. My daughter's face still glows in the dark. I talk to her sometimes, record messages I'll probably never send. But I've started recording other things too. The symbiosis, the chemistry, the way the jungle communicates through bioluminescence and scent and pulse. Mira would love it here. The glowing trees. The purring panthers. The way the fungi taste like cinnamon if you roast them just right. I tell her stories. Explain the science. Describe the cubs, how the smallest one, the one I call Scout, brings me rocks she thinks are interesting. How the alpha, which I've named Keeper, watches over all of us with patient intelligence. When rescue comes, if rescue comes, they'll find something useful here. A bridge between species. A language written in pheromones. Proof that adaptation isn't just survival. It's transformation. I came here to terraform a planet. It terraformed me first. The valley pulses around me. Blue-green light synced to my heartbeat. The panthers sleep nearby, their breathing slow and even. Scout is curled against my side, her paw twitching in dreams. Keeper rests near the den entrance, ever vigilant. I close the journal. Tomorrow, I'll map the Western Grove. There's a plant there the juveniles keep bringing me, one with silver leaves that shimmer when touched. It might be medicinal, it might be nothing, but I have time to find out. The jungle has accepted me, and I've accepted it back.